What's up, everyone? It's Brian at The Inevitable You. Hope you're having an amazing day. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how the quality of your questions drives the quality of your life. Our minds are very much like a computer program or software, and we constantly ask ourselves this primary question or a series of questions in a very logical order. And this really allows us to process life, process our experiences, and really dictates our choices, how we respond, how we react. And so I'm going to share a tool that we use to determine what this question is for you and how to rewrite the question so that it is more empowering, more resourceful, and ultimately drive better quality results for you. So I hope you enjoy the content. As always, you can go to our website and sign up for our 30-day free trial of our website membership. That's what this content comes out of. We do a Tuesday night Q&A call every week where we open it up for discussion about the tools, about really anything. So it's your resource to get on there, talk with other people in the community, ask me anything that you want, and also you have access to the entire member site where we have courses, content, even more podcasts like this, videos. So again, it's theinevitableyou.com. Go there, start your free trial, and then it's only $39 a month after that. So again, hope you enjoy the content. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. The primary question, one of the probably more important concepts to understand. It comes right from the model of the world. So one of the very first things that you'll see coming into the Inevitable You coaching system, this question is designed, the model of the world question is designed to extract your primary question, and it's really the question that you ask most frequently. And I'll give you some examples of what that means and what it looks like. But I wanted to start off with this quote because it's a great one. It comes from Tony Robbins. The quality of your life is a direct reflection of the quality of the questions you are asking yourself. So again, very brilliant, succinct quote here from Mr. Robbins. I completely agree. The quality of the questions are going to drive the quality of the answers that you're going to arrive at, leading to the quality of the results that you're going to produce. So a couple of things to start off and catch up on, refresh within the Inevitable You system. We're constantly talking about software, right? Mental software, this operating system. And really it's just a series of instructions of what to do with the data. The data being your history, your past, the things that happened. It could be, current things, present things that you're experiencing in the present moment. You're always making sense of what's going on or what has happened. Even, you could take this into the future now, even though the future isn't data yet, but we like to time travel. We'll think about things that could happen, things that, we'll go into our predictions of what will happen. We all love some sense of predictability as to what's going to happen in our lives. And so that's really all software is just a series of instructions and, designed or installed by family of origin programming. So these instructions were handed to you, programmed by the people you spent the most time with early on in life. And really, what these instructions are doing, this is the common brain or mind cycle. This is what's always happening. Data presents itself, and we're first asking, what does this mean? And so we have tools that go in depth on how we do this and how we can, create our own meanings. The I Choose Meaning tool, for instance. Old software is going to create meanings based on its instructions. New software will create totally different meanings when you start to reframe those data points and you look at the half full and the half empty aspects, and you get to choose what it means. And based on that meaning, you assign a feeling. Does this make me sad? Does this make me happy? Does this make me angry? We're making sense of the data. We feel an emotion, and this all leads to now our actions or inactions, right? I will, I won't, I can, I can't. Up to this point, but not past this point. So everything that's happening, all the results that you are creating or not creating, the quality of your life is based on this cycle. And so when we're looking at questions as a really big component of this, again, we behave very much like a computer. We've talked about this a lot. And like a computer program, we're constantly asking ourselves a first question or a primary question, and a series of questions to follow in a logical order that allows us to process life, our experiences, our data points, our history, creating our predictability, what's going to happen or not happen for us in the future. And it's dictating the actions that are occurring. So again, some examples of what this looks like, these series of questions. What do I do with the data, with this moment? What do I focus on now? What do I think now? And what meaning am I assigning to this moment? That's basically a summary of what these questions can look like and how they appear and where they come from our family of origin software. Now, I want to go into some examples of what this looks like. So again, the primary question, or the first question, it's going to create something for you. It's going to appear very frequently, almost all the time. So when you think about this, and let me go to this first actually. This is lifted from the model of the world. So when you read through this, what do I do with this data, with this moment? There it is again. You will notice that you ask this question or constellation of questions across many contexts. And for most, it's not really resourceful as empowering as we need it to be. Meaning that it's going to create it could create some disempowering, thoughts, habitual sentences, energy for us. But this question, this first question, it's one that you're asking yourselves most frequently. You're constantly, in many settings, it's appearing. So that's the first question for you. To arrive at your first question is, what question do I ask most constantly? Now, some examples could be, and these are actually pulled from real MOWs, but what makes you think that you can have or be or do that? Right? Who do you think you are? Why does this always happen to me? Why do I keep creating the same thing over and over again? What's the matter with me? And because our brains are very efficient, a very powerful, machine that we're using, what do you think happens when you ask it a question? What is it going to give you? When you ask yourself a question, what's your brain, your mind naturally going to give you?
An answer?
Yes, an answer. It'll give you the answers to the question that you're asking. So when you're asking something like, what's wrong with me, or what's the matter with me, or why does this always happen to me? You're going to arrive at answers as to why this always happens to me. Now, and if your old software, your family of origin, is like most, in a way pattern, looking at what's wrong and trying to avoid pain and failure, and it's gonna find, here's what's wrong. This is how you screw it up, and that's wrong, and oh yeah, and that's wrong, and so you can't really create in that kind of pattern anything really empowering. Now, it's not to say that these are wrong or stupid or bad or none of that, because there is some benefit to asking these kinds of questions. Again, away patterns aren't bad. They're very effective for, avoiding the things that you don't want. But, as we've looked at before, in the don't spill the milk pattern, or the, law of attraction, it's just an attraction for more of those things. Your focus is on not spilling. It's not on how do I pour carefully. So, as long as you are still in this kind of focus, it keeps you locked into that pattern. It keeps you, repeating those same things over and over again. And, with away patterns, just like with our don't stick the knife in the socket, once you know what not to do, now what's my pour carefully? What do we do with knives instead? So this allows you, it gives you consciousness about what that first primary question is, and then arrive at something that, shifts your focus, that puts you into towards pattern, that can create more empowering outcomes and results for you. That's going to fuel different actions. So let's take some examples here. Like, what's the matter with me, for instance? This person, in their new first question design, what are all the facts I have now to make the decision? What am I going to do to dig myself out of this mess versus what other information do I need? So you can feel the shifts in energy. You can feel the shifts from the, half empty to the half full. And let me go back here to the MOW, because, again, this exercise is not only in the model of the world, it's also on the member site. There's a specific worksheet that helps you work through changing these questions, this primary question for you. Because when you look at the question, when you identify what it is, the next step, and where did it come from? Whose program is it really? Was it mom's? Was it dad's? Was it something that you created because you intensely fought old programming? Where did it come from? What specific circumstances brought it into your life? It could be a data point or several data points that intensified it over time, or developed it not just from when you were 5 years old when the software is installed, but it was evolved over time. Then, what do you create when you ask this question? So again, what energy do you generate? What are you attracting? If it's a don't spill, or if you're constantly focused on, what's wrong with me, for instance, that's all the answers you're going to get. That's all the focus is going to be versus what are my strengths that I can build on? What's right now? What's going well right now that I, can use and build upon? So, the next step, once you look at, what you're really creating, because for most, you probably think that the question that's running in your old software is a good question. It's, well, don't spill prevents me from spilling milk, right? Well, no, it actually enhances the probability because you're focused on it versus pouring carefully. So you'll see the next question, what's the positive intention? Well, again, it's going to be some form of avoid pain. And the more I worry about, the more that I, try to fix my weaknesses. And for most, again, the 90%, it's going to be some form of pain avoidance benefit that you think you're getting. And then finally, the fifth part here, designing the new powerful question. And here it is. Here's the example that I've been referring to. Instead of what's wrong with me, you could shift it to what's right. How will I use that now? Instead of why do I always seem to get screwed, how will I achieve my success now? What do I have to focus on? Versus what went wrong and why does this keep happening to me? So, back to some examples. And again, you can find this for inspiration on the website. It's under, I think it's, we've used two variations of it over the years. That's why I've been talking about it as primary and first. It is actually called the first question on the website. You may see it in other settings as the primary question. So these examples are on the website. There's a whole nother audio, 12 minutes long, the worksheet as well. So if you really want to do some deep work on this, highly recommend doing that exercise.